hold on.
Hear people say,
hold on.
The woke right.
What's that?
So obviously you're mocking the religion of Iran. No decent person mocks other people's religions. It's a mockery not just of Islam, it's a mockery of Christianity.
Like this all
just to be fucking clear, the religion...
Yeah, that's the taste of things to come. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guests. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. Today... yeah, today... all of the people, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, go full retard. We have the build-up, and then we'll get to the payoff of everything going down in Iran. In Iran, sorry. Right here. Like to hear it? Here it goes.
You know, I hear people say... the woke right, the dissident right, and then I hear them lob accusations towards the other side saying MAGA dorks, rhinos. I have been pretty clear that if you can't make sense of the left, if you can't make sense of their reasoning, for example, gays for Palestine, it's because their loyalty is to Marxism.
That's right.
Yeah. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's very clear. I'm not going to get into I'm not going to read the whole Communist Manifesto, any of that. It's viewing the world through the lens of oppressor and oppressed, and that can be somehow controlled through a centralized force. So that changes, right? It could be straights and gays, and then it could be gays and trans. It could be white and black, or then it could be black and Asian, and vice versa. It's about seeing the world through that lens, and that it is a centralized duty to correct it. It's seeing people, or identifying them as based on their immutable characteristics, to use the term of the left. All right. Identity politics, to use another term. So I will just refer to this group as the Marxist right. Meaning those on the right saying we need to remove Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Saying we need to invoke the 25th. Saying that everyone is the same. We're no better off under President Trump than under Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. Here's what you guys need to know. I spend more time in leftist spheres where I get my news. That's why we provide the references every day, 11 a.m. Eastern while we stream. Bibliography every day. Most of them lean left. Democrats are actually thrilled about this. You need to understand this. Objectively, those on the left see what is happening on the right, and they go, ooh, let them do it. And I'll tell you why, because they know how intensely unpopular they are. So clip left thrill montage.
Oh, that one.
You can see it all over the right. You got Megyn Kelly and Tucker fighting with Mark Levin. I can't even keep track of all of them. They hate each other more than they hate us. That's just what happens when parties go down. I mean, it kind of end of the Republican Party as we knew it.
Well, this is hilarious considering that the left eats itself on a constant basis.
Remember that.
The purity test, as it were.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm happy to watch. It's good spectator sport.
All right, MAGA cannibalism is completely underway, and it is so delicious.
This, I think, war represents, it ties into the Epstein betrayal. It's its own sort of betrayal, and that's what's riled MAGA's hackles so much, or at least some MAGA folks. It's an emotional sense that, you know, Daddy said something to us, and then he lied to us, and then he lied again to us.
What I'm hearing from everyone is I'm a 3-time Trump voter, and I'm not MAGA anymore. I'm now non-MAGA. MAGA, the base is
no one who voted for him 3 times is saying this.
Leaving because they don't agree with this conflict, and they don't believe that this is what they voted for.
And I will say, the voices that you hear online, the amplified voices, which with a very unified message, by the way, with very unified timing, and I don't say that to imply anything. It is a fact. When you see people coming out all within 24 hours of each other saying 25th, Donald Trump's a betrayer, you go, okay, well, where's this coming from? Because that's not what you're hearing from voters and people on the ground. Certainly not to an overwhelming degree. You have plenty of people who are against the war in Iran, and you have plenty of people who say, you know what, I think it makes sense. And you have someone like me who said, give it 3 months. And then I think we need to reassess it. The issue is you have those on the right saying, that people saying, give it 3 months, they're actually a greater danger to the country than the people you just watched who want this country to descend into socialism. How do I know? Because they've said it. How do I know that the people would rather align themselves, those on the Marxist right, with those folks? Because they have said it and because they share the same views for America. If you were to write on paper, more universal daycare, more money into Medicare, more money into social programs so long as there's no war, you would go, oh, that's Code Pink? Oh, it's the true MAGA people. Now, James Carville just said, this is what happens when a party goes down. Like I go down to the bayou, get a crawfish. But the Republican Party isn't down because it doesn't exist in a vacuum. The conservative movement, the MAGA coalition, is not down. You know what is down? And that's the reason for people rebranding, looking for a new niche, that's just my opinion, is the Democrat Party. They are so unbelievably unpopular that I think some folks see a potential business opportunity. Hey, buy low.
Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. This shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. Look at where we are now. It's a complete flip. Just take a look at this. Net favorability. Party ahead at this point. Midterm of years with the GOP president. In 2018, Dems were up by 12. In 2006 on net favorability, which party you like more? Dems were ahead by 18. Republicans are actually ahead on net favorability at this point by 5 points. So Democrats are just simply put running behind their previous benchmarks, and they need to be running well ahead of them if they want to take back the United States Senate, given that math.
To be clear, both parties are wildly unfavorable right now. However,
Democrats are even more unpopular than Republicans.
Because modern Democrats
are more unpopular.
Because they lost, and then because they doubled down, they lost, and then they tripled down. They doubled down. It makes no sense. They are playing to their wildest base. They are bidding the whole party on 5, maybe 10% issues. Why? This is why I'm not one of them anymore. I am not conservative, but I can't call myself a liberal. I haven't been able to for years.
A dead party in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because they've lost a lot of key demographics, at least to a notable degree. And you have those on the Marxist right trying to give it life support.
Yeah.
Look, this is kind of a binary decision. Either you think that this administration is absolutely flawed. But you know what? So is every administration. Nobody gets the exact president that they want. And this doesn't mean that you're a rhino. It means that you just have to pick the issues that are closed-handed and the issues that are open-handed. And if you reach the point where it violates your conscience to vote that way, I understand you shouldn't vote that way. I'd find myself there if it was a pro-LGBTQ, transing kids, pro-abortion, libertarian candidate. I wouldn't be able to vote for them. I wouldn't. I would vote for this administration again. I'd vote for this president again. Your choice is either we can work within what we have that has some degree of a self-correcting mechanism, though it's imperfect, and work to improve it, or we can link arms with the left or be useful tools to the left. Because that is what let's distill it even more. 2028, take the two front runners. You either get J.D. Vance, imperfect, or Marco Rubio, imperfect, or Gavin Newsom. It is going to come down to a binary choice. And your rhetoric right now and your advocacy right now does have an impact on that. So you really better believe that Gretchen Whitmer or Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris are no different than J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Otherwise, you're making a mistake.
Yeah, and you better do your homework in the primaries because that's where you can have your candidate, whoever it is. AOC is in her seat because she primaried the incumbent.
Right.
Use the primary system if you think things need to change. Don't try to blow up the system because you forgot we had primaries.
And if you've noticed a growing chorus of people on the Marxist right advocating for guiding gently this country into the hands of the left, guess what? You're not crazy.
Who do you think you are? You're tweeting out the F word on Easter morning?
This is the greatest con in
Oh my God.
history.
I swear, Tucker Carlson has to be a British nanny. He just has to be. The amount of pearl clutching that comes out of him.
To run as an America first, and you're going to take care of America, and then turn around and go,
like
all of
Piers
these
Morgan
things,
with
daycare,
a lower
Medicare,
T.
Medicaid, we've nothing to do with that. We're fighting wars.
Pause.
That's what
You just named like the programs I like least.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as how they actually work. And by the way, it was the same thing for all of you who were Doge. Keep going.
Long Island.
we're here to do.
Even blacks are getting scared, though.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're more scared of like the Trump movement,
I don't know.
totalitarianism and fascism.
So obviously you're mocking the religion of Iran.
Joe's going full retard.
Okay. If you seek a religious war,
Pause.
that's a
You mean the installed religion? Because historically,
It's not a
the
religious
Persians
war.
weren't all Muslim
Also
people. There's a history of Zoroastrianism, and you guys can get into it. But anyway, it's just, I guess, splitting hairs. By the way, I don't know if you know this, Islam has always been an installed religion. It's kind of new. Let's keep going.
good idea. But by the way, no decent person mocks other people's religions.
Disagree.
Yes, they do. They do all the time. Everybody mocks people's religion. What is happening?
Far they fall. He's like fully Jewish now, I think. Like he's just like, it's all of the Israelis. Sue! If your
yes.
feelings are hurt. Sue!
The Jews.
Sue!
But you mock other people's faith.
It's not suing. First of all, Trump doesn't sue when his feelings are hurt. He sues when he's being maliciously slandered by a news organization. That's when he sues, because you can and you should.
Is to mock the idea of faith itself.
I think they're getting,
Incorrect.
They see these ostracized, they see these communities of people out there getting abused and shit, and I think it reflects in them somewhere,
It's a mockery, not just of Islam.
He needs to go back to being funny and stop thinking. Him being on a podcast started off fun, and then he interviewed political people. He interviewed J.D. Vance and shit. And now he's gone full retard.
It's a mockery of Christianity.
Pause. No, Islam is a mockery of Christianity. This is the sleight of
Also
hand.
true.
Islam says, by the way, all that stuff that's in the New Testament about Jesus Christ being divine, dying on the cross for sins, resurrecting, none of that happened. The people of the book, Jews and Christians, lied about it. Islam is quite literally blasphemous toward Christianity. Doesn't mean that I want to force them to meet their maker as they do me. But
Also
to
true.
say that mocking a religion that tries to remove the entire basis of yours is to mock Christianity, the mental gymnastics, they should be 12-year-old Chinese girls taping down their breasts to make it through the trials. Let's go to the next one.
Send out a tweet with the F word on Easter morning promising the murder of civilians and then saying praise be to Allah without explaining any of it. You are mocking me.
I do agree that not the best message for the President of the United States to put out on Easter morning. On the other hand, Tucker Carlson is a retard. And he mocks everything. He mocks everything if it suits him. He is the most disingenuous person. You know what I'm saying. Besides Candace Owens, he's the worst. Look at this guy. I don't understand how anyone takes Tucker Carlson seriously.
And every other Christian because we're Christians. We can't support that. That is evil. That is an intentional desecration of beauty and truth, which is the definition of evil.
Even though Donald Trump has shattered his coalition by lying us into this stupid war on behalf of a foreign country, that coalition is still right for someone else to pick it up and run with it.
My concern is that this is
Who the fuck is that?
evidence that he is not in control.
Oh, a retard.
He is not in control as commander-in-chief of his own armed forces.
This is the greatest about face in political history that I have really ever seen.
He hasn't been saying Iran can't have a
More
nuke
than
since the
ever,
80s.
it feels like theater.
Nobody's been more
And
consistent
It feels like
than Trump.
It's been theater for a while. And it feels like, maybe this is crazy, but it feels like we're at the last cusp before something weird is going to happen. Didn't you say something weird might happen, Jamie?
You could have
did you say something weird is going to happen?
That's why we haven't used nuclear weapons in 80 years. No one has. Because you don't know where it goes from there. This is insane. Okay? This is insane. It's hard to believe you even need to say this out loud. Oh, but you do. Because all things being equal, that's where we're heading.
I hope Thomas Massey runs for president. I think, by the way, they're doing a big money bomb for Thomas Massey on March 30th. And I think him winning re-election in Congress is like the most important political election in the country right now.
Sue them. Sue them. Everybody's just jealous of you. It's like there's something that's just so middle school about this. It's no, we want to know.
Like the mean girl making up stories about people all the time. Like she thinks that Trump and Erica Kirk had everything to do with Charlie Kirk's murder. She thinks that Erica Kirk is a Mossad agent. That's the most recent thing. Regard.
Oh, who killed Charlie Kirk? So could you park aside the lawyers and get information for us?
Tyler Robinson's parents
do.
do.
You can't do that, can you?
Candace Owens wants information. Candace Owens wants information. Next, she'll be wanting facts. I don't believe it.
Democrats and them in the midterms, that's a side issue now compared to existential threat. How do we 25th Amendment his ass?
You see, there's a lot of brown people getting murdered on TikTok all the time, like, in the Middle East, and I think you see that.
The regime by 40,000.
But it's by their own leadership. There are thousands of Iranians being killed. What are we at? Over 40,000 now. Iranians gunned down in the street for protesting. Not a couple of people attacking cops and getting shot in self-defense, even though it is a bit excessive for self-defense in America. Tens of thousands of people gunned down for protesting.
Not just mockery of Islam.
It's a mockery.
No president should mock Islam. That's not your job.
Yeah, he said to mock anyone's religion is to mock religion itself. No, you should never mock anybody's religion. Well, again,
first of all,
you can consider
we can mock
it
whatever we want. Is it appropriate? Is it appropriate for the president to do so? No. But for Tucker Carlson, of all people, to be this offended by this, the guy's lost the plot.
For your cross to bear. I've grown up here in the public eye. I have never been shy to criticize and mock Islam, and I stand by it.
Well, Muhammad did have slaves. He did slaughter a few hundred Jews, and some of his last words were cursing the Jewish and Christian people. I'm still not seeing how someone could interpret this religion as violent.
And there we go, Aisha with a black eye and a fat lip. Oh, look at that picture.
And in the spirit of full disclosure, Muhammad had many wives.
Not Muhammad! Who are you speaking?
Shut up! You don't know the boss of me!
That was, in fact, Gerald. He was the only person. He was the only person willing to be in that sketch. Everyone was like, "Oh, wait, you're making fun of Islam?
Not Muhammad!"
And maybe it's just, a tender spot because I've gotten fatwa'd for my troubles. Most multidaily.com to start your subscription today. Foundation. I don't know about you, but kind of a central tenet of the right was we don't like being told who we are allowed to mock, tease, or espouse opinions on at all. Since I've been here, we aren't the people. We aren't.
Kid, fuck off and stop leaving that shit
there. The party, the political movement of we're offended or it's offensive enough that you shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
And I certainly wouldn't put mocking Islam in that category out of the many potential sacred cows at all.
And Tucker basically just made a hate speech argument. He defined the mockery of Islam as the mockery of Christianity.
Yeah.
He tied those things together in a way I've never seen somebody tie them together, by the way, and say that is him mocking us for being Christians and we can't support that. He preceded that by saying, I voted for him before and I would probably vote for him again if he ran. What the hell are you talking about?
It would be like saying to mock Satanism is to mock Christianity.
Yeah, because
I will tell you this, the closest thing that we have to Satanism in practice is Islam. Just to be f***ing clear. Does that bother you? Just to be f***ing clear, the religion that says Jesus was not divine, the Jews and Christians are liars. And by the way, this new guy with the book who thought he was wrestling with a demon but was convinced it was an angel has a whole new list of rules that violate the old ones and you should follow them. By the way, if you don't, we're going to kill you. To mock Satanism is to mock Christianity. If you want...
Yeah, that last part especially, the fact that it's when they say that they're a religion of peace, there will be peace after they convert or kill you. It's like that movie Chronicles of Riddick.
Want to say, hey, I think this is too costly, fine. If you want to say President Trump hasn't been as good on right now the economy, okay, cool. But to say to mock Islam is to mock Christianity. No one should ever mock anyone's faith. I couldn't disagree more.
If we went through all the episodes of him being on Fox News with his own show for 10 years, you're going to tell me we can't find something that he was where he was mocking?
Many times.
Right?
Many times. You know what it says too? The new
I used
party,
to like him. I'm totally...
The new Marxist right? You're not welcome because of your comedy albums. You've been mighty harsh on Islam a few times. Oh, well, that's evil, Nick.
Yeah.
The jokes are evil. And I understand the president's different from a comedian. That's not lost on me, but that's not what was said.
That's not what he said. Yeah, exactly.
And we do have some more sage wisdom on X. Some of these posts. And here's the thing, too. We provide all our references. Like I said, check them out, 11 a.m. Eastern. That's when we stream. And some of those people, just to be clear, I consider friends. So it doesn't mean that they're bad people. Certainly not all of them. And hopefully we can have... Hey, anyone, you're welcome to, if you think that it's unfair. But you do see quite a bit, especially on social media, just flat out lies. And the problem is people, and they're not stupid. If you've believed some of these things, you're not stupid. You just don't have enough time in the day to fact check everything. So a lot of people go, well, why would someone lie about this? That seems obvious. It's cited as a fact, and then you move forward with that as the basis of your belief. Mm-hmm. Case in point, Mario Nafal wrote this. Iran is currently winning this war. They are now making more money from oil sales than they ever did since the 1979 revolution.
What?
And they completely control the Strait of Hormuz. Things are about to get ugly. Here's the truth. In March, Iran made about $140 million a day off of oil. It's a far cry from their peak of $323 million a day in 2011.
Oh, come on.
It was very, very easy to find. Just to be clear. Yeah, about double. And
people just run with it.
And Iran doesn't control the Strait of Hormuz. Their navy's at the bottom of the strait. Everything about that post is wrong, but they felt the need to go out of their way to tell you that the United States is losing the war. Hey, let me ask you, what do you think these people would do if we actually found ourselves in dire straits? Forgive the pun, it wasn't intended.
Yes.
In a conflict. Losing? I've also heard people say we've exhausted all our traditional military resources, so we have to use nukes. I think it was Tucker. What? Come again, Kim Jong-un would refer to that as retarded. They have this banger from Candace. Again, just going to criticize the actual points. It's very hard to fact-check evidence because none is ever provided.
Ever.
This is a satanic administration. We all realize that satanic Zionists occupy the White House and Congress needs to move to have the mad King Trump removed. So it's a rebrand. She was a liberal, a socialist her whole life, up until and including through the election, then stole the term Blexit from someone else who had created it, profited, and now she's going back. She's going back to, let's remove King Trump. Alternative? Please propose it. Please propose it. Oh, because we know they don't want Vance.
Oh, God.
We know they don't want to go down the line succession in this administration. All of our lives may depend on other countries realizing that Trump is deeply unwell and surrounded by religious fanatics who have convinced him that he is a messiah.
That's
we are
a new one.
Uncharted territory.
I've never
Leaders
heard anyone
worldwide need to
I have
act
never
accordingly.
Heard anyone on the right say that he's a messiah or a king or anything. The only people I've heard saying that he's a king is the left, who says that he can't be such.
So aligning with leaders outside of the United States is America first, is MAGA. Aligning with faggots from Spain.
Easy.
And ironically,
faggots.
Those, I am not a faggot. We do not pronounce the S. And the UK
I do like, it sounded
and
like
socialist
Penelope
nations,
Cruz saying it.
or places where they jail truckers for speaking out against their government. You call upon them. Those are your allies. You know what else is this implication, satanic. They'll say it's evil. You know what's evil? Gossip. You know what's also evil? False accusations. You make the claim, going to use a nuke, you better have evidence. You make the claim, satanic, you better have evidence. And I'm not even saying that there isn't someone who does a little bloodletting every now and then in their off time. I have no idea. There are a lot of people in administration.
It's a big administration.
It's fun. It's good for you.
But
well, no, she made sure to stick the point. It's not just satanic. It's satanic Zionist.
I was going to say, boy, did she have a hate on for the Jews.
The land. No, it's this. Listen, you can have your problems. We've talked about that. My God, it's okay to have a conversation about that. But when every single thing that happens in the world goes back to that, I know. You have lost the plot. It's what we used to say.
All right, sorry. Absolutely insane.
On the orange man, bad, idiotic left. And now you have become them.
Wasn't this country founded on Judeo-Christian beliefs? So why is it
they
such
would argue the Judeo part never even happened. And I'm like, listen, I
really?
It's largely Christian, but Jews were some of the other people. Some places you couldn't vote unless you were a Christian. That's true.
No,
but
I understand
yes,
that.
the point remains. Here's what I would do if I was Donald Trump. I'd go, okay, at the end of this war, look, no more $3 billion a year, Israel, because looks like you have quite a few IOUs.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's fine. I'm fine with it. I don't think we should be sending the money, and I think that AIPAC skirts that line fair. Good. I'm all for it. But to say the administration is satanic, and then you also combine it with the context of defending Islam.
If they're right about that, Trump's working with Bibi and whatnot. It went down like this. Right after October 7th, that horrible day, Bibi called him and goes, look, here's our chance. You've been saying you want the oil since 1988. I saw you on Oprah saying it.
Yes.
Here is our chance.
Right.
I'm saying I'm done with these people. I'm going to end them. You can either help. It happens that our interests do intersect in some spots. So what do you say?
And there's a discussion.
Trump
to be
knows
had
a good
about
deal
that.
when he sees it.
It's a geopolitical discussion.
I'm not holding that against him.
Not a satanic one. And if you wonder,
satanic,
okay,
that's a Democrat.
So world leaders. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but pick a world leader, any world leader. Okay. Their country doesn't have freedom of speech. Okay? Pick a world leader, any world leader. Their citizens are not allowed to protect themselves. Pick a world leader, any world leader, certainly in the Western world. Mass migration, unfettered and open borders. Pick a world leader, any world leader.
The guy in
censorship
Hungary.
for thought. Oh, yeah, well, there you go. You can do Orban. But any in the Western world, Europe, any of these other leaders who she would be calling on right now.
Yeah.
So you go, so you'd rather align yourself with, because of this issue, that's a geopolitical one, socialists and those who live to censor and control their people. Well, why do you think that it sounds like these people would prefer to align with Marxists, leftists, socialists, Europeans? Well, maybe because of exactly that. Don't take my word for it.
I would actually argue, and this is a bold statement.
It's a bold haircut.
The Democratic Republic is the greatest government experiment in the history of humanity. I would say
I've enjoyed it.
You've
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Yeah. So we enjoy it. I love America. You love America.
I do.
Capitalism should not be anywhere near Christianity.
What?
You think?
Christianity is more, and I don't like the word socialist with the weight it carries, but Christianity is socialism at its core.
Non-authoritarian.
Do you want to come again, stupid? How do you enforce socialism?
Oh.
Now you could, if you want to go with this and say, yeah, but they're mostly right. The end game, they just told, is socialism. The end game is universal daycare, not women being home in a traditional family. The end game is more socialized healthcare. The end game is Christianity is socialist. The end game is can't criticize Islam. Come on, we're the party of offense. The end game is let's align with other world leaders. They've told you all of that. So the reason that I disagree is because I think America is better than those nations, and I think socialism is bad. I think it's anti-Christian, to be clear. Why? Because we all are fearfully and wonderfully created by God. Yep. But not all men are created equally in ability or proclivity.
He's also illiterate. He needs to read the Bible story again. He needs to read where the husband and wife came in, I think it's Ananias and Sapphira, came in, said they sold a piece of property to give to this communal group, by the way, this communal group of Christians who decided voluntarily to have all things in common. This is such an old argument that's so moronic. And they lied about the price. And they were struck dead by God for deceiving. And what did they say to them when his wife came in or when the husband came in? It wasn't this piece of property yours to do with as you wished, to buy or to sell. That's private property ownership right there. That was not forced. That was
Ten
voluntary.
Commandments.
Read the book.
Don't covet thy neighbor's stuff.
No, it's just
everywhere
so
in the
moronic.
Bible. The parable of the talents, by the way. You're supposed to rely on God for your daily bread, not on government, to be clear. Also, when you say not authoritarian, okay, socialism, Marxism, let's really distill this down. Everyone's the same. Some people are going to choose to spend their time in the local tavern. This is what people argued against socialism, used these arguments a long time ago. I'm not new here. And some people would decide to better their situation and become doctors. They're all the same. So if everyone is all the same, who wants to sign up for the shit cleaning job? No one. So how do you get them on board? You will always have a certain subset of people who reject and do not want to live under socialist, under Marxist rule. And so the only way you have to coerce them through violence.
Didn't, capitalism raises all boats?
Yeah, well, they're confusing capitalism and consumerism.
I'm saying that
free
they
enterprise
shouldn't be near each other, Christianity. And I'm just saying capitalism has helped a lot of poor people.
Yeah, and theologically, you eat what you kill. It's the curse of man. Just to be clear, you go back, I know a lot of people out there now who claim that they're Christians you probably would break the binding on their Bible. Just go right to the first story ever, Adam and Eve. What's the curse to man and what's the curse to woman after the fall? Men, you will toil by the sweat of your brow. It means you will seek rest, but you're never going to have it.
That's what bandanas are for.
And what does it say to women? You're going to yearn to be over it, but he will rule over you. You're going to yearn to be a boss babe, but you're still never going to be a man. It says, men, don't be violent and don't screw everything that moves. Women, don't be gossips. It's really clear what your curse is because of our sin separating us from God, and it's really clear what your proclivities are. And instead of fighting that, instead of acknowledging that, socialism embraces that sin and says, we have a way out of it. You can all be equal, and you don't have to toil away for the rest of your life. Let government take care of you. You guys aren't on board? You go to the gulags. It's never happened any other way. It's not lost on me. Consumerism, I get it. I understand it. I do. You know this. I'm someone who has very little use for things. I am accidentally.
Well, then give me things.
Robert De Niro in Heat, although I don't think I'd see the heat around the corner, but there's nothing that I couldn't leave in 30 seconds or less. I don't really care about stuff that much. I care about freedom. I care about peace. I like a good meal, a nice beer every now and then. Cerveza, as they say in Spain.
They don't say it with
consumerism,
the lisp,
Christians shouldn't seek satisfaction, seek worth, seek purpose in material things. That's not the same as allowing people the freedom of their own pursuits. It is evil to rob men of that because God did not intend for that to be the case. I've tried to avoid, look, because I know that some of you go, I'm kind of back and forth. It's not your fault. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I don't want to insult you.
Retarded.
But what I really, really don't want to hear, okay, is 2 or 3 years from now, when we have Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom as president, and wokeism is back, and it will come back, and you are being deplatformed from Twitter, X, YouTube, all this stuff going down, and kids are being trans, and you have boys being filleted in pictorials in the student library,
Where? Oh.
right? I don't want to hear you fucking people fight back and ask people to hit your godforsaken Patreon. Because you are doing this. You are doing it right now, and don't try and pull another rebrand. You said remove Donald Trump. You called upon other world leaders. Hey, you can platform wherever you want. There are certain people you won't platform, but you'll platform people saying Christianity is socialist. I think I know where you line up. Don't want to hear a word from you later on that we need to fight back against the Marxist left, because there has been a wider, more effective coalition in the right in this country than ever in any of our lifetimes. And you are destroying it with no proposed solution.
And all a lot of this is you'll notice a lot of creators will turn against current regime, whether it be Democrat or Republican, because they need the views. The people in the opposition, the people who don't hold the White House, will always have the higher ratings. Fox News' ratings always soar when there's a Democrat in office, and CNN always soars when Trump's in office. This is how it's pretty much always been when there's a Republican in office. The left sees rating spikes because everyone wants to go against the ruling party. So the horseshoe right, the anti-Semitic right, and Alex Jones are... Yeah, they're turning for views, and it's easy when you don't really stand for anything. Alex Jones is decent enough. I stand for his right to say whatever he wants. I even stand for Candace Owens' right and Tucker Carlson's right to say whatever they want. But they're retards. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Well, there will be one of two solutions. We continue down this path, improve it, correct it, or undo all of it and say there's no difference.
We'll do
Oh, and speaking of which, Alex Jones said, Trump has become disloyal to the old Trump. To which Laura Loomer, and I'm not a big fan of Laura Loomer, but...
That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, and there's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
You're going to have a war by being weak. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
Nearly 40 years ago, Trump saying, I'd be harsh on Iran. They've been beating us psychologically, making us look like a bunch of fools. One bullet shot at one of our men or ships, and I'd do a number on Karg Island. I'd go in and take it. Iran can't even beat Iraq, yet they push the United States around. It'd be good for the world to take them on.
So Iran can be taken. I would never take the military card off the table. And it's possible that it'll have to be used because Iran cannot have nuclear weapons.
And then he started talking about
nobody will be pushing us around. I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. We will totally dismantle Iran's global terror network. Iran has already, since the deal is in place, test-fired ballistic missiles 3 times. And someday, maybe hit even the United States. And we're not going to let that happen. We're not letting it happen. Today, I am announcing several major steps we are taking.
But he's a liar. But he's a liar.
Regimes, hostile actions.
He lied to his base.
The longer we ignore a threat, the worse that threat becomes. The Iranian regime's aggression in the region, including the use of proxy fighters to destabilize its neighbors, must end, and it must end now. And I am ready and prepared to take whatever action is necessary.
That was right at the end of his first term.
Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. And Biden, if he were a real president, should say, if anybody shoots a former president who's now the leading candidate, we will bomb that country into oblivion. If I were the president, I would...
That was him talking to the Flagrant podcast. One of the many people... I haven't heard him say anything about this specifically, or Charlemagne, or Akash, but everyone around them is saying that Trump lied. He said this on the Flagrant 2 podcast. What?
Inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime.
Would you consider bombing the country again?
Without question, absolutely. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. Ensure that Iran never, and I mean never, acquires a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
No, I don't see a war. You see, the war this is not a Vietnam situation. That would have been the easiest victory we would have ever won.
I mean, for them it's a war. For us it's turned out to be easier than we thought.
And this is what I'm talking about. You can do this for 90% of the things that people accuse him of not doing, of doing, of going back on. You can do this with him denouncing white supremacy. You can do this with this. You can do this with all sorts of things. There are all of these montages all over the place. All you have to do is just the minimalist of research. I'm a slacker. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a retard. I find it with ease.
Candace's way, the final solution.
Yeah.
Well, no, it would actually, the final. So I'm sorry, just for clarity.
Thanks for stepping on the.
I don't even know.
Listen,
I don't even know if.
What do you think I'm here for, Nick?
Does she believe in the?
I love Nick.
Does she believe the final solution ever happened? I don't. Candace, you're welcome. Tucker, you're welcome.
But anyway, we'll continue on to...
As the bombing continues in Iran, Trump has given them a deadline of 8 p.m. or he will decimate their entire civilization. So the Iranian regime has responded by surrounding themselves with civilian human shields. As President Trump's official post stated, a whole civilization will die tonight,
this was
never
yesterday.
to be brought back again. I don't want it to happen, but it probably will. But since we have a complete and total regime change, maybe something wonderful can happen. We'll find out tonight. Why does the potential beginning of World War III sound like a promo for The Bachelor? But with President Donald Trump, a reality TV military should be expected. As B-52 bombers have left the UK, allegedly on their way to Iran, where everybody is echoing the 8 p.m. deadline.
But he said 8 p.m. is happening. That's what he said. He said, it is, if we get to that point, there is going to be an attack like they have not seen.
Inferring an escalation Iran has never seen.
By 8 o'clock tonight, I hope they make the right response, because what we really want is we want a world where oil and gas is flowing freely, where people can afford to heat their homes and cool their homes, where people can afford to transport themselves to work. That's not going to happen if the Iranians are engaged in acts of economic terrorism. So they've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct.
As Trump had previously suggested, we will go after their infrastructure, such as bridges.
We have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock. And it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen.
And this definitely isn't what most Trump supporters voted for. But again, could this possibly be a bargaining chip? Give us what we want or get decimated, which has pitted us in a sort of game of chicken. As after hearing these threats, the Iranian regime has called for civilians, notably children, to begin building human shields around their infrastructure.
And this is something that actually happened. People are calling this a protest. No, this is the Iranian regime calling for its children, its youth, to surround the nuclear power plants. Human shields. and they'll call this a protest, clearly just to mask the fact that this breaks all kind. This is a war crime. Using human shields, especially kids, is a huge, huge war crime. But this is what they do. This is what not Palestine, but this is what Hamas does. This is what the IRGC does. This is their tactics. This is purely them. And yet people are defending them. Queers for Palestine.
And outside their power plants, we're seeing walls of potential civilians, with the bridges receiving the same, but even the kids are asked to be there. So why exactly would they do this?
Women and children are being recruited or forced in front of those power plants in protest of President Trump. And reminder, many of them, most of them, do not have access to the internet or any form of communication.
As sadly, we don't know what they've been told. Are they being forced into supporting the regime? Do they even know of the incoming potential bombing? Or are they just being used as a human sacrifice to win?
And that's the most important thing. The IRGC has taken away all internet access from these people. All of it. I don't know if Elon Musk still has Starlink working over there, but a lot of these people have no idea what's going on. All they know is guys came in at gunpoint and said, hey, you grab the flag and you go stand in front of the power plants and the bridges.
The war of PR, since they know Trump can't back away midway through this war, so best they can do is get him removed from within America. And that's exactly what's happening as the Democrats are rallying against him with the 25th Amendment.
If the United States Congress has any life left in it, every member of Congress and senator must be calling for Trump's removal today based on the 25th Amendment.
Why?
He's threatening the entire destruction of a civilization. He is calling Iranians animals. He is showing a total disregard for the humanity.
He's not calling Iranians animals. He called the IRGC animals. There's a difference. It's like saying the CCP are animals. Chinese people aren't animals. There's a difference between a people and its government.
Of people in Iran, in Gaza, in Cuba. This is a moral crime. It is a war crime. We need to be demanding that Congress convene today, and we need to be invoking the 25th Amendment.
But his judgment on presidential capability basically means nothing.
Look, the president has said that age is a fair issue. I've seen the president twice in the last 2 weeks. I've had conversation with him. He's completely mentally sharp when we were discussing the Middle East.
And again, this is just empty political posturing, as the 25th Amendment would only temporarily pass the presidential powers to the VP. And even though JD seems a bit less boisterous about destroying an entire civilization overnight, he isn't exactly against destroying their entire civilization overnight. But it's just interesting to note how many American politicians are quick to call out these potential war crimes while simultaneously ignoring their war crimes.
I imagine that Squirtle in the background playing the saxophone.
Violating every law known by striking commercial vessels in the Straits of Hormuz. And it's a big problem for the world. I mean, this is a regime that doesn't believe in laws, rules, or anything like that. It's a state sponsor of terrorism.
Which is probably why many Iranians are celebrating his actions.
Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Even directly citing Trump himself.
Exactly. Help is on the way.
Even though they still risk being ended by the existing Iranian regime. And even though it seems like this is the
and
right...
you have to remember, these people are still somehow, after losing so many of their military members, they're still oppressing their people. Actively. These people want to be free. I do not understand why the left... Look, I understand not wanting to participate 100%, but the fact that and that's fine. 100%. You're allowed to disagree with our action here. But the fact that the left is standing behind the IRGC, the regime. Say what you want, but even conservatives that were against Ukraine weren't standing with the Russians. They just didn't want our involvement, which they're allowed to do. I mean, they're allowed to stand with Russia too. They're retarded, but if they do, but you can't even see hardly any people. I can't even recall anyone doing that. Were there probably some people doing that? Yeah, people are nuts. The internet makes people spout all kinds of nonsense. But the thing is, no one prominent stood behind Russia against Ukraine. They just didn't want to be in Ukraine. People in this situation are standing with the regime that's doing this to its people. Allegedly, the most recent numbers is 50,000. It's definitely over 40, but...
right thing to do. Most Americans voted for Trump over the promise of no new wars. But almost immediately, we've been thrust into a potential World War III, or maybe not the big one, more of a World War Tokyo Drift side story. But there is a possibility this was all done over something beyond our comprehension, as we're not privy to everything our military sees. So I'll still try to have cautious optimism, but not blind support like when Trump said he won in 2021. They were going to release the Kraken of evidence, and that was a nothing burger. They were going to release the Kraken on steroids, and that was another nothing burger. No, sometimes Trump fails, and we can call him out on it. As there's this long 10-minute explanation of what may be happening, briefly recapped in a possibly AI synopsis.
He's fighting an unwinnable war in Iran. He's threatening to invade with ground troops. He's pissing off NATO by threatening Greenland. The world will run out of oil by mid-April. The global economy is about to collapse. Trump looks like the worst president in history. But
the world's not going to run out of oil.
Isn't rare. Venezuela has the world's largest reserves. Canada
exactly.
has
the world's
reserves.
not going to run out of
oil. The
oil.
United States has massive reserves.
And
Trump
we pump our
just took over Venezuela in January. He's threatening to take over Canada. You see where this is going?
He's not
if Trump closes the Strait of Hormuz by fighting Iran, the Middle East oil stops flowing. But North America, still pumping. Suddenly, Europe, China, Japan, South Korea, they all need American oil. Not just oil, fertilizer too. Nitrogen for food production comes from the Middle East. Trump is making the entire world dependent on resources he controls.
Now, if this is all a 4D chess move, it's huge, leaving behind a long-time legacy for Trump, providing decades of American prosperity. Or, this is just pure, uncut Colombian-grade copium. Hey, we may be bombing civilians, getting in a 2-decade-long ground war, but trust the process. This is just this year's version of 15 days to slow the spread. But I guess all we can do is sit and wait, pray for the best, and take the wins where we can. Because if anything, the fact that we can't even run our bombing missions through Europe, we gotta go around them, is bringing up theories that many of those countries have brokered secret deals with Iran against America, as our Secretary of War notices this and points it out.
And as far as NATO's concerned, that's a decision that'll be left to the president, but I'll just say a lot has been laid bare.
Yeah, we don't need them.
Been shown to the world, about what our allies would be willing to do for the United States of America when we undertake an effort of this scope on behalf of the free world. These are missiles that don't even range the United States of America. They range allies and others, and yet when we ask for additional assistance or simple access spacing and overflight, we get questions or roadblocks or hesitations.
And the president will not forget.
And that's the worst thing. Look, NATO doesn't need to exist. Okay? We have the UN. NATO does not need to exist. We're simply paying for more diplomats or whoever the fuck our representation is. All these countries are. All of them. We've been financing NATO since World War II. Well, was it World War II? Whatever. It's been there for the Cold War at the very least. Sorry, my timeline's a bit fuzzy. I still need another 2 cups of coffee to get right. But we do not need it. Now, it should have been dismantled 10 years after the fall of Soviet Union. But it wasn't. And we've been funding it the entire time. Same with the UN, basically. No one else has made their contributions to the extent that we have. We've done our percentage and more. If we back out, they'll crumble anyways. We should. The UN too.
I learned about NATO. NATO won't be there if we ever have the big one. You know what I mean by the big one. We ever have the big one, hopefully we won't.
As America would likely be criticized for backing out of NATO, but not as much if NATO backed out of backing us first. And most MAGA Americans would agree we should have stopped supplementing the defense of Europe years ago. Not because we're against them or anything, but because world security shouldn't be the American taxpayers' responsibility. So if you appreciate my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality.
All right, let's move on to Trump.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be.
Madman.
That is who we have targeted. Do you really think we're at World War III, and do you really think that President Trump is going to be dropping a nuke on Iran? I know some people do. And I will say with this Truth Social, again, in trying to be fair-minded.
And spoiler alert, it didn't happen.
It didn't help the case.
No.
But then I want to provide some context, because we do also at a certain point have to be adults and go, wait a second, would there be something out there that may counterbalance this? It's obviously ill-advised to say civilization.
Yeah.
It's certainly
regime
very
ending.
much ill-advised to say whole civilization. But has he repeatedly been reiterating that the regime kills its own people and the people actually are the ones who want liberation? Now, I'm not saying that that's our job, but delineating between the two is something that President Trump has done quite consistently, and so have I. So this Truth Social comes with some issues. He posted,
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Did I say that?
Gerald said that I would never say wow. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Now, you look at that and you go, oh, wait a second, that seems inconsistent. Whole civilization gone. God bless the great people of Iran.
Weird.
That's your tell. That's your tell, because Donald Trump has repeatedly delineated between the two. And you have to. I don't know that there is a government less representative of their people on earth right now than Iran. Certainly
Maybe ours.
top 5. Yeah, in some way. Well,
maybe ours.
Certainly for 4 years under the Biden administration. And I think probably not too. We're a country pretty divided. So you look at some hot takes. Piers Morgan, I'll be doing his show, I don't know if it's later or tomorrow or whatever. He wrote, this is a brazen pre-admission of genocide against the Iranian people, which would obviously be a war crime. Madness.
You can't do that.
Joe Kent wrote, Trump believes he is threatening Iran with destruction,
Joe
but it is
Kent.
America that now stands in danger. If he attempts to eradicate Iranian civilization, the United States will no longer be viewed as a stabilizing force in the world, but as an agent of chaos, effectively ending our status as the world's greatest superpower. Couple things there. I don't know if you know this, but often the world's greatest superpower, they were agents of chaos. They just took your...
I'm an agent of chaos.
We don't. So we've actually been holding ourselves to a very different standard. And the problem here is the left says that we're an evil empire. But now if, for the first time, going on your premise for the sake of argument, we actually just leveled an adversary who said they will level us if given the chance, the truth comes out. We're not an empire, right? We're not. We're the only superpower, really, of significance throughout history that hasn't done that hasn't acted as an empire. Either we are an evil empire, or nation building, which is a legitimate criticism, by the way, and one that I have, is too costly. But being an empire is not costly. Being an empire is you take the resources, you profit from it. People need to pick a lane. This would upend our economy and shatter the global order. Okay, that may be so. The process is already underway, yet we still have time to avert catastrophe if Trump finds the courage to pursue serious negotiations rather than reckless rage and destruction. Serious negotiations, this is something too. We saw their 10-point plan or proposal from Iran. I don't think that it's sensible. They say remove all of our troops, our bases, I'm going by rote here, not just a ceasefire, end the war, give them control of the strait, which they really didn't actually have, and they'll be able to fine people $2 million. No word on whether they will lift all the sanctions. No word on whether they will stop funding Hamas or Hezbollah.
Right.
Wasn't mentioned. No word on whether they would stop pursuing enriching uranium. So what serious negotiations means is capitulation. And this is one thing too, I'll get to some other comments here. I've seen people say that killing any innocent civilians, first off, is a war crime, no matter the context, even if you're not targeting them. And I've seen people say that is fact, that's evil, and that makes Donald Trump evil because it goes against God to kill innocent people. I understand that you are not supposed to kill non-combatants. That's not lost on me. Now, we know that the Iranian regime has said we will have citizens, right, hand in hand they will be at the power plants, they will be at these sites. Let me tell you what that really means. What that really means is the regime, the remaining members, have gone to families and told them that they will be executed unless they act as human shields. And for someone to say, you can't kill an innocent life knowingly, you have told terrorists all you need to do to beat the United States is put one woman or child there. Because our policy is, we won't do anything. And if you really think that they're doing this because they value human life, and by the way, that's what some people are saying and trying to carry their water, we can't do this because we actually do have a moral compass as a nation. You could easily test it out by putting women and children on the bases that they target or the ships. See if they value human life so much they stop targeting them. But we don't do that because we're not animals like them. Owen Jones.
It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
You?
Hey, child, I got a free cruise. This ship's huge.
Why are we still listening to that freak?
I don't know.
Lord.
There's a Behind the View podcast. Did you know that? Where there's more view.
Oh, yeah, the B-roll is tremendous.
Yeah, it's a great director's commentary.
Speaking of Down syndrome, go ahead.
Owen Jones wrote, Donald Trump is clearly threatening to use nuclear weapons against Iran. Now, see, here's the thing. Whole civilization? Yeah, imprudent. Clearly threatening to use nuclear weapons against Iran?
No.
Did that happen? Was that actually made? Did he say he will use nuclear weapons against Iran? Now, this is why this matters, because people were saying with the first strike in Iran against their enrichment facilities, World War III, they were saying this will be World War III. The only thing about which we can be guaranteed right now is this would bear no resemblance to a world war. It's the reason we need to pull out of NATO, because European pussies won't even step in to secure their own self-interest.
Yeah.
He needs to be removed as president to prevent a catastrophe that our species will never recover from which we'll never recover, but I'm splitting hairs. Now, everyone is thinking nukes, and I've also heard Tucker Carlson say that this is, well, it means that because we've exhausted all of our traditional military resources, which is so silly, I won't even address it. But we have other options at our disposal. Our greatest weapon, for example, you've heard about it, the discombobulator. That's how I picture it.
That was a Skinnerd fan.
I mean, I'm sure it's more significant than that, but when they say the discombobulator, that's how I picture it.
What is overpaying on and expert guidance?
What?
Let me go here. So some context, okay? Some context, and then we can kind of open this up. The last 48 hours, President Trump has been very clear and also condemned for this. When he has called the regime animals, when he has said they have killed 40-something thousand of their own citizens, he has said that they need to be dealt with. It is not a war crime to attack them because they are effectively subhuman. And by the way, I agree when dealing with the IRGC, to be clear. Here are some recent comments about Iran and how they feel, the people of Iran, not the regime, regarding the bombing.
You've said Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. I can only say this. They want us to keep bombing, even if it jeopardizes, because their life is in much greater danger. They want freedom for Iran.
Now, this is where the goalposts will shift. And people say, well, and I agree with you. Just because people want our help, it doesn't mean that it's our job. And that's where we have to do a cost analysis. And the truth is that the prerequisite for rescuing of any people on this planet with the world's greatest peacekeeping force, honestly, probably throughout history, the American military, it really should be beholden to, is it in our best interest? With Iran, they happen to intersect. Some people can argue. I'm addressing the point of people saying we are deliberately killing innocent people. And we are look, we're just as bad because we're killing Iranians. The best polling data we have available to us, and by the way, not a lot of there's no Pew Research in Iran. I don't know if you know this. 2/3 of Iranians do not support an Islamic Republic. And I'm willing to bet that quite a few more are afraid to speak out.
Yeah. Imagine doing a poll, I don't know, in January of this year.
Right.
Early February. I wonder what those numbers would be.
So we need to delineate between those two. Now, President Trump's post gave people ammunition. Whole civilization, horrible wording. The IRGC is not a civilization. I think if you take it in its totality, it's pretty clear that he is talking about the regime. That is who we have targeted. I understand that there's collateral damage. Anyone who says that we are targeting civilians, what evidence do you have of that? I have seen none. I, of course, have seen civilians killed. And of course, it's tragic. The IRGC targets their own civilians. So, do you give him the benefit of the doubt, whether you oppose or support this war? 25th. 25th, he needs to be removed, and what's the alternative?
Well, people were saying the 25th before this post.
They've been saying, they were saying it before. Dave Smith said it on this show before the Iranian strike on their enrichment facilities, and then again after. But he said every single president, except for George Washington, is a war criminal who, by the way, executed people and made their friends watch.
That's how the world works, children. Seriously, what do you think? It's a coincidence there's been wars for thousands? That's how the world works. The 25th Amendment, why? Or based on what? What are they saying? Is he old? Is he sick? Is he crazy?
They're saying, oh, he's betraying us.
Crazy, yeah.
Huh?
They say he's all of those things.
Well, good. You find me. This guy already took a bullet for us and has done more. And I just can't believe it. I can't even believe we're having this discussion.
I agree. And I understand that. I think that's a fair point. But somebody who took a bullet for us can turn out to be crazy. That's just not the case now. They're not making a case for Donald Trump being crazy. They're making a case for not liking his decisions right now. Listen, I understand. I hated that post. I hated it. But I also have a functioning brain. And I can see at the bottom of it where he's talking about the Iranian people, which he has done repeatedly in the past, separating the regime and the people. So either Donald Trump flipped a switch and said, actually, I don't care about the people anymore of Iran, or never did, and now I'm just going to wipe out all of them. Or he wrote something like he always writes. He goes to the freaking extreme with how he posts in negotiations and what he says, and he uses crazy language. Now, here's my problem with this. You cannot do that when it implies nuclear weapons, because it does imply something more than what we've been doing now, and people will naturally go to that. You want there to be clarity about nuclear weapons, and the clarity is they will never be used until we do it. We don't give advance warning. We don't say we're going to do it. You drop a bomb if you ever have to again, and I pray to God we never have to. This certainly doesn't seem like the case to drop it. If he does, that would be civilization changing for us in the United States, and we would come out and be like, what the hell?
I want to go to you two things. Clarity, yes. Let's.
I think I agree with Gerald.
Here's the thing.
I never
Let's
thought
apply
this
this standard across the board. And I've been doing this since 2008 here with you, right? We've been very consistent in asking you to apply consistency. Let me ask you one question to lead off. You can comment. Pause, don't cheat if you're watching the archive. Do you acknowledge that there is a difference? Do you separate the Iranian people who are oppressed by the regime and the regime? Are those two separate groups? Okay? If the answer is yes, and you're upset because, rightfully so, the words whole civilization is not clear. Now let's apply that
not
standard
appropriate, just in itself,
to all of the 25th his ass people saying the United States is killing the people of Iran. Let me ask you this, clarity. Who has been more clear consistently in delineating between the Iranian people and the regime? It's Trump by a landslide in comparison to Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens or Dave Smith or the entire left. But I repeat myself. Apply it, if you believe that they're separate, who is more consistently communicated clearly the regime is a problem for the people and the people are a problem for the regime and we need to deal with the regime? Okay? Then one slip up isn't as bad as every time people speak.
Yeah.
Every time the people speak who say this man is evil, this administration is evil, we're out there killing innocent people, we're bombing Iran, we're killing Iranians. That's the only language I hear. I don't hear the opposition delineating. Apply it consistently. I also think it's pretty clear from this.
And just to give
he
you
doesn't want to
real
have
quick.
to bomb their infrastructure.
No.
If you look at his record, typically these types of negotiations always end the same way, and it gets scaled back and they come to some kind.
Look, just to give you clarification, this is a message sent out in Iran. Saying, mothers and fathers, take your children by the hand and come out to the streets. Do you want your son to become a man? Let him feel like he's a hero on the battlefield, commanding the battle. Mothers and fathers, send your children at night to the roadblocks. These children will turn into men. This is them telling their people with a very creepy one-eyed smile, which just sounds bad saying that out loud at all. But this is Iran telling their parents to take their kids to these checkpoints to be human shields. And this is why I can't stand the left anymore. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of the right either, but this is why something needs to be done. They will sacrifice everyone so long as they are left alive to live in their luxury. This is not right. And then just to show you, I used Grok. I said, is this an accurate translation? Yes, the Mimir TV translation is accurate. The speaker, Iranian regime figure, Hossein Yekta, says in Farsi, mothers and, yeah. This is gross, man. This is why. This is 100% why. And then just so you know, just because we're running out of time, spoiler alert, Based on the conversation with the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Azim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of I can't do that anymore, of agreeing to the complete and immediate and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We've received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. 6. On behalf of the United States of America as President and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to a resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Official statement of Iran. Tehran, 7 April 2026. On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brothers, he, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Sharif, and he, Field Marshal Munir, for their tireless efforts to end the war in the region. In response to the brotherly request of Prime Minister Sharif in his tweet, and considering the request by the United States for negotiations based on its 15-point proposal, as well as the announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal, many points, as a basis of negotiation, I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage to the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations. Saeed Abbas Araghchi, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay. So that's where we sit now. By the way, do your taxes. Yeah, that's where we sit right now.
Kind of an agreement.
We will
God
go
willing,
a little
and I
bit
truly do
further.
mean that. Let's pray for that, but not at the expense of what needs to be done. Not if the regime is still in charge. Not with their terms as they exist right now. There needs to be some massaging of the deal. It's very clear to me that he doesn't want to do it, so he's putting this out there as they negotiate, come in high, so that hopefully they can meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Still doesn't mean that it's well advised. But yes, sorry, Nick.
No, I was just saying. The Tucker Carlsons of the world and Candace, they turned on him a long time ago before this tweet.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Which that's where I have the problem. But this tweet was worded horribly or whatever. I understand that. But I didn't understand. I mean, they've been bad-mouthing him for months. All of it. We didn't, he said there was going to be no, hey, stuff happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. We are so spoiled. We've been such a powerhouse, this country, for so long that we get upset if there's some collateral damage when you drop a bomb. I mean,
I understand people getting upset, but to me, it is incumbent upon those saying we need to remove him. Okay, present a viable alternative. And you know what? We'll move on unless there's more to talk about with this. I know there are clips on CNN.
Well, yeah, there's clips on CNN. We got a new post from.
Also, speaking of CNN, don't believe the 10-point peace plan that they put out. They've already retracted it. Yeah, do not believe CNN. I mean, you should not believe them
Candace,
anyway.
if you want to read it in relation to this, or we can.
Okay, because I know we're about to go on. Can I see the post?
Here you go.
And to be clear, I don't want to get into all the, because Candace drags everything into a personal thing. I'll just take the post for what it is and let's see where.
So this
where
is in response to, I believe she's saying this. Pull it up. Go ahead. It's in response, I think, to the, it's supposed to be the president of Iran. More than 14 million proud Iranians. This is not her. This is the president. More than 14 proud Iranians have so far registered to sacrifice their lives to defend Iran. So he's basically saying, like, hey, they're going to go gather at these facilities. We talked about that, right?
Right.
This is her response to that.
Okay.
So you can read it.
So that's from the, okay, guys, I'm just reading this. I'm looking at it on a small screen, a little bit bigger. So that is from the propagandists in Iran saying 14 million people have volunteered to.
Should be the president of Iran.
Okay, the president of Iran. By the way, that means those families likely have family members being held hostage. You go out, here's a human shield.
The Iranian president tweets that he is willing to sacrifice his own life for his people. Donald Trump was willing to sacrifice Charlie Kirk and is willing to sacrifice every American life and livelihood for greater Israel. Who is the animal again? What the fuck are we even talking about? He's not going out there. He's calling for people to be human shields. They don't know what's going on. They haven't seen everything that's going on. They see the bombings, and they're being forced to go out there. He will not be out there. I can guarantee you. Candace Owens is a retard.
Because we don't value human life. Matter of fact, the ideal scenario is those people die anyway to this regime. But okay, let's see. Candace's response. The Iranian president tweets that he's willing to sacrifice his own life for his people. Donald Trump is willing to sacrifice Charlie Kirk.
What?
And is willing to sacrifice every American life and livelihood for greater Israel. Who is the animal again? Okay. The Iranian president willing to sacrifice his life for his people. All right. Okay. I mean, the truth is, any of these people in Iran, their lives, they exist at our mercy. Let me go back to that other one. Donald Trump is willing to sacrifice Charlie Kirk. Is the implication here that President Trump, now we're back to President Trump, this administration killed Charlie Kirk? Is that the implication?
Well, sacrifice at the very least.
Sacrifice. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you tie that together.
Who was it who aggressively campaigned and made it kind of their raison d'etre to continue their organization for Donald Trump? Was Charlie Kirk. Who was at the Charlie Kirk memorial? The Trump family? Was Candace?
No, I don't think so.
She wasn't invited because she's a bitch.
Who was it? We'll get to it. Who was the one saying, hey, Erica Kirk should sue people who've implied that she assassinated her husband? And who was upset about it? Candace. Let's just go with this. What evidence do you have? Anyone, we'll take your chest later. What evidence do you have that the Trump administration assassinated Charlie Kirk? I don't want to hear about a 30-06. No exit wound, by the way. MLK Jr., we've told you that. No exit wound happens all the time, depending on the ammo, depending on how you load it. Now, what evidence do you have that Donald Trump sacrificed Charlie Kirk?
She has no evidence.
Is that a fair question? I would ask it of anyone making that kind of a statement. Anyone got any?
No.
Maybe she got hit with the discombobulator. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube?
Look, that being said, pick your spots, pick who you listen to. I'm not saying listen to me, and even if you do, research a little bit. I do some. The reason I watch and respect Crowder is because the man does his research. I've watched him off and on for years. He puts me off sometimes. But you can't say the man doesn't come with the facts. Nuck's the same. Nux is a bit more aggro than this guy. But so far, they seem to be the main two sources, on the right at least, who come with the facts. Crowder especially, usually sourced by left-wing sources. So, again, if CNN's saying so, or if the left is saying something positive about the right, it's probably true. If they're saying something negative about the left, it could be true. If the right's saying something positive about the left, depending on who it is, if it's Candace Owens, she's a retard. If it's Tucker Carlson, he's a retard. Generally, everyone else, as far as the prominent ones, I don't trust anything Megyn Kelly says either. But if they say something positive about the left, it's more than likely true. If they say something negative about the right, except for those examples, because the horseshoe right is dividing the party. It's gonna be an interesting midterm election, but like I said, get out there and vote. I don't care who you vote for, just get out there and do it. The midterms always have less showing because people forget that there's an election pretty much every year, but at least every 2 years, depending on where you are. But get out there, do your thing, stand up for what you believe in. Just make sure you know what you believe in and you actually know what you're talking about to believe it. There's a lot of bad information out there, and they will always call the truth false information. But until tomorrow, guys, thanks for stopping by. And as always, this is Alfie Animus with the associated guests on the Bear in Mind channel, signing out.